guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video because I have the ColourPop and Alice in Wonderland collection. I didn't pick up everything. I picked up the things that I wanted from the collection, but we had some fun and we played around. Now, before we jump into it, if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell for notifications for new videos. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. But if you want to see how I got this look using that collection from ColourPop and Alice in Wonderland, just keep watching. Okay, you guys, I went back and forth on whether I was going to do a dedicated video or just a what's all new in makeup, and I decided for this collection I was going to do something dedicated because it's ColourPop and Alice in Wonderland. I loved Alice in Wonderland growing up. If you've seen my tattoo on this arm, and of course I wear a sweater on the day that we're talking about some of my tattoos. I have Alice in Wonderland here, the Queen of Hearts here. There's a whole long story as to why I decided Alice in Wonderland as a sleeve. We'll get into it, I'm sure. But when I saw this, I knew I needed to purchase it. So we have the palette, which is Lost in Wonderland, and it's a little small. It's also formatted differently, more like a storybook than usually they're like the landscape. But this is the color story. It is quite beautiful. I love the shimmers that are in here. I love the matte shades, and I'm really excited to try them out. I didn't pick up everything in the collection. There were a couple different blushes. I did pick up the lip kits, but I think there were 2 different blushes and I only picked up one of them. But like I said, this year I'm being very selective on things that I purchase. Okay, now the swatches for this palette are actually quite stunning. The second shade on the top in the middle is I'm Late. That is a pressed glitter. That's kind of like a white and gold shimmer. And I'm looking at them on my arm because I just swatched them. Even the last shade that looks like the Cheshire's colors, which is Lose Something, that has a magenta to blue glitter in it. And even the black shade Nothing's Impossible has gold glitter in it. It does look like there's 2 multi-chromes or duochromes in here. The shade Very Merry Unbirthday, which is like a pinky to blue. And then the shade AEIOU, which the caterpillar says, that is like a blue to pinky purple shift. So I'm really excited to try these, and I'm kind of leaning towards like the purpley shade Talking Flowers with the gray that way. And then one of the multi-chromes or duochromes, or I have no idea what shimmers I want to use, but I think I have a way forward. Okay, so I think I have a way forward, and I think the first shade I want to go to is Talking Flowers. It's just a pale purple shade. I think that's going to go into the crease. So when I was growing up, I really liked Alice in Wonderland. I liked the characters, especially the cartoon version of it. But as I got older and I started to understand the story a little bit more, where her parents were pressuring her to do something and she just wasn't having it, and she wanted to go on her own path and figure it out. That's kind of how I was. I grew up down in Florida with my mom, and my dad lived in Indiana, but they each had a different idea of like what I should do, and I wanted to make my own decision. I was very independent growing up. Had a part-time job, I went to school, did all the things that were expected. Next I'm going to go into the shade That Way. I love the names in here. They're very reminiscent of the movie and what the characters would like tell Alice to do or say to her. But it really played a part when it came time for me to graduate from high school. And my mom and dad had an idea of what I should do. And I wanted to go to college. I had really wanted to. I thought about it. I definitely had planned on it. I had many different ideas of what I wanted to do. At one point I wanted to be a lawyer and a doctor and, you know, the normal things. Then I wanted to be a teacher and all this stuff. Well, I got done with graduation and I was like, I don't want to go back to school. I don't want to do that at all. The gray is pretty, but I think the purple is actually overpowering it a little bit, which I'm not mad at. So, you know, everyone had an idea of what I should be doing, and I don't want to do any of it. But it wasn't until I think we were all at the bowling alley. Like, that was the thing to do. We were all at the bowling alley hanging out, and one of our friends had came to say goodbye, and we didn't really know that he was leaving. He just said, hey, I joined the Navy and I'm leaving. And I was like, what the heck? Well, my aunt had been in, my uncle had been in. I never thought about it, but mind you, this was 2003 that we graduated. 9/11 had just happened in 2001, and we were at war. Well, we were all talking and stuff, and he was talking about shipping out and leaving and joining the Navy. And I thought about it. I really had thought about it, which, fast forward, if you've been here before, you know, I ended up going into the Navy. So I told my mom I wanted to join the Navy, and she was like, I'm going to join with you. She tried to come in on the buddy program, and my recruiter was going to let her. And I told him, if you let her come in with me, I will not enlist. I wanted to go do my own thing. And I understood what Alice was, well, that's how I interpreted it. So that's why I really felt some sort of way about Alice in Wonderland, and that's why I have the tattoo on my arm. I understood. It's easy to get caught up in what other people want you to do and not to follow your own dreams. I'm going to go slightly into the shade Nothing's Impossible, this black with gold glitter. I'm going to do this on my pencil brush. So I'm going to go slightly and just kind of like define the outer corner. Now, my mom, like I said, tried to join on the buddy program with me. My dad, on the other hand, didn't want me to join at all. Ever so slightly, that may be too much. When I told him that I was going to join, he's like, don't do that. If it's the cost of college, you can move to Indiana, and because that's where he was living at the time. And you can work here for a year to become a resident, and then you can go to school at Notre Dame and apply there. I didn't want any of that. I wanted something else for myself. So I did end up enlisting. I did end up joining the Navy. Now, at the time, we had so many people joining the military because everything that had happened, there were a lot of people coming forward, very patriotic, felt some sort of way about what had happened to us, that we were targeted on our own territory, our own country. And people were joining left and right. So there was a wait list, especially for females, because there's only so many quotas. And I could get into all of that, and it's not interesting at all. But I was originally going to come in as a corpsman, so medical field, but so did all the other females that were trying to come in. They were all coming in medical. And we're limited on the female seats we have available because ships are only built up for so many females on board, so on and so forth. And I was in debt for a year. Well, in that time, I went with my grandmother to Vegas for one of my cousin's weddings, and my grandmother's diabetic. And there was an episode to the point that just her blood sugar was out of control, and I had to inject her. What? I freaked out. She had taught me when I was little, in case there was ever an emergency, like I would know how to do it. It doesn't mean that I didn't get freaked out because I had to inject my grandmother. And when I got back from Vegas, I immediately went up to my recruiter's office and said, nope, not going as a corpsman, not doing anything medical. You're going to find me something else. We were able to find me a different job, and I deal with radar now. Something not close to needles, which is funny because I get a lot of like looks when I tell people I don't like needles, especially when I have to get my immunizations, because I have all the tattoos. Tattoos and those type of needles are different. But I was able to change my job that I was coming in the Navy for. All right, I'm not going to try and like super smoke this out. I don't want it to be like too overpowering because I do want the color that I choose to be the focus. So I think I'm going to use two of the shimmers. I'm going to use the shade Lose Something, which is very reminiscent of the Cheshire, who is on the back of the palette and is also up on my shoulder. I'm going to pick this one up on my middle finger. So I did join as an operations specialist. So I deal with radar. navigation, that type of stuff. And I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I have met some amazing people. I've got to do some amazing things, and it worked out. Now, granted, my dad wasn't a huge fan of me wanting to join, especially in 2003 when things were going on. But that doesn't mean that he hasn't supported me with my career. And especially when I was in RDC, or Recruit Division Commander, in other branches, we call them drill instructors. He would come to those graduations in Great Lakes. And not just for me, because he was proud of what I did, but he was proud of like the sailors that I trained and were going into the fleet and are going to be one day my relief. Now, you know, did I think in 2003, 2004 when I joined that would be the same conversation? No, I really thought he was going to be upset with me because I didn't go to Notre Dame and I didn't move in with him. But he's never, like, he's always supported me. When I got pinned to chief, he was there at my pinning and everything. So he's been there for a lot of my milestones. But you never know what your family is willing to support you on if you don't take the leap for yourself. I'm going back into, what is this, Nothing's Impossible, just on this outer edge and pushing it over a little bit because I don't want the magenta all the way in my outer V. It is kind of like a sticky consistency. It's really pretty. Now, I'm going to use the shade Very Merry on Birthday. This is that like pinky blue shift. I'm going to pick this up on my ring finger. And fitting enough, today is my grandmother's 82nd birthday. So we are, as soon as I'm done, we're going to go to some of the greenhouses and check out the flowers. Granted, it is 60 degrees here. The weather has been doing some weird things. But my cousin, he wasn't sure what to get her, but we were talking about like flowers and planting and all that type of stuff. And when we went home to Michigan, we were able to get all the flowers that she wanted. So he thought that he would send some money and we would go and pick up some flowers. I really like that. Now, on my dry brush, I'm just gonna finesse it in the inner corner. My grandmother, though, has an amazing green thumb. I'm not so good. I will forget to water my plants. I think they're beautiful. I love flowers. I love having them in the house. I just forget to take care of them. I remember to take care of my cat. She meows and is like, where is my food? Plants, on the other hand, they don't communicate and I completely forget about them. So we've been keeping flowers in the house just to kind of brighten everything up. Now, let me go do some base products. I'll be back to finish off the eye and try out the blush that I picked up. Okay, I'm back and we need to finish off this under eye. Now, as far as like my base products and everything else that I use in addition to the ColourPop Alice in Wonderland collection will be down below in the description box, so definitely check it out. There are clickable links, so it's easy to find and navigate to. But let's knock this out. I'm going to use the shade Talking Flowers. This is going to go all the way underneath the eye. I'm going to go into the shade That Way. Just in the outer V area. I like how it kind of takes on the shade of the purple. And then into Nothing's Impossible. This one is just going to go on the pencil brush. Even though there's glitter in there, you don't really see it. Now, for inner corner highlight and brow bone, I am going to use my Caliray Starlight Beach. This highlighter is dreamy. I absolutely love this. Just in the inner corner. It's just so icy and wet. It's absolutely blinding. And then for blush, look at the packaging, it's so cute. This is in the shade Oh Dear. And I don't know that it's like a shade I would gravitate towards, but it was the lightest of the two shades. I think there were two. Okay, I was thinking it was going to be a little more cool tone than I wanted, but I actually really like this. It is a little pale for what I tend to like gravitate towards. It's not horrible though. Just a pink flush. It is nice and buildable. Let me finish this off and I'll be back for lips. Okay, now there were 2 lip kits, and of course I picked up both of them. Now there is one for Alice, and this is in the shade Most Curious, and this is a blur. So it's kind of like a pinky shade. And I'm not doing like the swatches in the B-roll because I feel like this is just appropriate. Really like that shade. Now with her blur lipstick, there's also a Luxe lip gloss, and this is in the shade Total Nonsense, which look how beautiful this iridescence is. I'm just gonna put that right. So juicy. I love their lip glosses. And it smells like Fruity Pebbles. Anyone else smell Fruity Pebbles when you smell the Luxe lip glosses? Let me know. Maybe I'm just making that up. And then the one for the Queen of Hearts, this is My Ways, and it's a cream lipstick. Look how stunning. Now, ooh. I don't think red is in my future. I did a very like Cheshire Cat inspired eye today, but there was also a lip gloss. This is in the shade Croquet Queen. That just looks stunning. Oh, that might be interesting on top. See, like when I looked at this, I'm thinking it's just all red glitter. It is a gray lip gloss with red glitter, which on top of the red lipstick would be really stunning. And I like the flowers on here. So cute. Now for the lipstick, I think I need, I don't think I have a shade in here for this. So like these are all my nude shades, but I don't think I have a pink shade like that. This is close. This is Calabasas from Jeffree Star. In Control. This one is way too like nude. Yeah, I think Calabasas is the closest. And that's one of my like neutral shades. And really it's just so that my lips are lined and there's just something to help. I have the hardest time lining my lips. I have the weirdest shaped lips, just so you guys know. They're not my favorite. It is what it is, and I'm not getting them. All right. In with the shade Most Curious. I mean, it's a little more cool toned, the lip liner is. I don't know that this is my favorite color. But we also know that I prefer a nude, not like a pink shade. It's very creamy. I will say, like, every time I rub my lips together, and I assume this is because it's a blur, it seems to like take it off of like some of my lip. We're just gonna go with it. It's not a horrible shade. It's not a color I gravitate towards. Now I do want to use the lip gloss. It is so beautiful, and I love the like pinky blue iridescence in this. Oh, look at that. It is very like juicy and slippy. Okay, you guys, this is the final look, and I really like how my makeup turned out. I'm not completely convinced about the lip just because it's not a color I gravitate towards, but I really like how my eyes turned out. Very Cheshire Cat inspired, and this color story is super cute. So I love the packaging, Lost in Wonderland, and then the color story. I feel like there's a lot of fun to be had in this top row, and I used this shade in the inner corner, which is really pretty, but I want to see what they look like just with some of these lighter pastel shades. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Are you picking this up? Have you picked it up? Have you tried it out? What are your favorite colors? I want to know. And then the blush is very subtle. I like it. I thought it was going to be cool toned, but it's not super cool toned. It's just like that flush of pink, and I really like this shade. The packaging is super cute with her in the bottle. I love the details. I really do. And then the 2 lip kits. This color is not necessarily one that I'll gravitate towards, but also the red was not like gonna vibe with this eye. Now, let me know your thoughts. Did you pick it up? Are you gonna pass on it? Put your comments down below. I'm really interested. But you guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe down below. Hit the bell for notifications of new videos. If you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Until my next video, you guys, bye. I'll see you in the next one.